there's a story. Breaking news from Buckingham Palace has just shattered the calm of the British monarchy. What was supposed to be a routine announcement has turned into something far more devastating. The confirmation we've all been dreading about Catherine, Princess of Wales, has finally arrived, and the implications are staggering. The announcement that changed everything. The ornate gates of Buckingham Palace have witnessed countless historic moments, but few compared to what unfolded just moments ago. At precisely 11:45 this morning, the Palace press office released a statement that has sent shock waves through the United Kingdom and across the world. The words, carefully crafted yet devastatingly clear, confirmed what many had feared but hoped against. Catherine, Princess of Wales, the woman who has become the very embodiment of modern royal grace and resilience, faces a battle far more serious than anyone had publicly acknowledged. The statement, released through official channels and immediately picked up by every major news organization, revealed that Catherine's health situation has taken an unexpected and deeply concerning turn. While the palace had previously announced in March of 2024 that Catherine was undergoing preventative chemotherapy following abdominal surgery, today's announcement paints a far graver. The cancer, which was discovered during that initial surgery in January, has proven more aggressive than initially believed. Medical experts advising the royal household have recommended an extended and intensified treatment protocol, one that will require Catherine to step back completely from public duties for an indefinite period. Royal correspondent Jonathan Sacerdoti was among the first to break down the implications on live television. His voice, usually measured and professional, carried an unmistakable weight as he explained that the language used in palace statements is never accidental. Every word is scrutinized, debated, and approved at the highest levels. When the palace uses terms like extended treatment and indefinite period, they're signaling something far more serious than a temporary setback. This isn't about taking a few months off to recover from routine procedures. This is about a woman in her early 40s fighting for her life while trying to protect her 3 young children from the full horror of what their mother is enduring. Within minutes of the announcement, social media erupted. Twitter, now known as X, saw Catherine's name trending worldwide. The hashtag Pray for Catherine climbed to #1 in over 50 countries. Instagram posts from royal fan accounts garnered millions of views within the first hour. But beyond the social media frenzy, something more profound was happening. People who had never particularly cared about the monarchy found themselves moved by the tragedy unfolding. Here was a woman who had done everything right, who had devoted herself to public service, who had raised her children with remarkable normalcy despite their extraordinary circumstances, now facing every parent's worst nightmare. The timing of this announcement is particularly cruel. Just last month, Catherine had made what many believed was a triumphant return to public life. Appearing at the Remembrance Day service at the Senate, she stood on the balcony, impeccably dressed in black, her composure absolute. To the watching world, she appeared to be on the mend, gradually returning to health after her difficult year. Behind the scenes, however, a very different reality was unfolding. Medical scans performed in late November revealed complications that no one had anticipated. The cancer cells, which doctors had hoped were completely eliminated, had shown signs of activity in areas that filled the medical team with dread. Palace insiders speaking on condition of anonymity have painted a picture of organized chaos in the hours leading up to today's announcement. Senior royals were informed late last night during emergency meetings. King Charles himself, still managing his own cancer diagnosis revealed earlier this year, was said to be devastated. Prince William, who has been Catherine's rock throughout this ordeal, had to be the one to make the final decision about going public with the full truth. The alternative, continuing to maintain the facade that everything was progressing normally, had become untenable. Medical realities have a way of forcing hands, and the royal family's hand has been forced in the most heartbreaking way possible. Catherine's journey through the shadows. To understand the full weight of today's announcement, we must go back to where this nightmare began. January the 16th, 2024 was supposed to be a day like any other in the carefully choreographed life of the Princess of Wales. Instead, it marked the beginning of a journey through darkness that Catherine could never have imagined. The planned abdominal surgery, described at the time as successful and for a non-cancerous condition, revealed something far more sinister. During the procedure at the London Clinic, one of Britain's most prestigious private hospitals, surgeons discovered abnormalities that demanded immediate biopsy. The results, delivered days later, changed everything. Cancer, the word that strikes fear into the hearts of millions, was now part of Catherine's reality. But this wasn't just any diagnosis. The specific type and location, details the palace has carefully guarded, suggested a particularly aggressive form that required immediate and intensive treatment. Medical experts speaking generally about such cases explain that when cancer is discovered incidentally during surgery for other issues, it often means the disease has been silently progressing undetected. This silent progression is what makes it so dangerous. Catherine's decision to undergo preventative chemotherapy, announced to the world in that emotional video message released in March, was framed as a precautionary measure. She spoke with characteristic dignity, explaining that while the surgery had been successful, tests had revealed the presence of cancer and her medical team had recommended chemotherapy as the best course forward. What she couldn't say without causing panic was that her doctors were deeply concerned about microscopic disease that might have already spread beyond the surgical site. The chemotherapy regimen Catherine endured was brutal. Friends close to the family have quietly shared that the side effects were far worse than anyone anticipated. The nausea, the fatigue, the hair loss that she managed to conceal with expert styling and wigs during her brief public appearances. Each cycle of treatment left her weaker. Yet, she persisted with the same determination that has defined her approach to royal life. She wanted to beat this. She needed to beat this. George, Charlotte, and Louis needed their mother. Throughout the spring and summer of 2024, Catherine largely disappeared from public view. The rare photographs released by Kensington Palace showed a woman trying to maintain normally for her children. Birthday portraits, casual family snapshots, carefully curated moments designed to reassure the public that the princess was on the mend. But those who knew how to read between the lines saw troubling signs. The weight loss was noticeable. The careful positioning and photographs to hide the toll treatment was taken. The cancellation of appearances at events she would have normally attended without question. By September, when Catherine released a video announcing the completion of her chemotherapy, there was cautious optimism. She spoke of relief, of looking forward to undertaking more public engagements, of the light at the end of the tunnel. The family footage showed her laughing with William and their children in the Norfolk countryside. It seemed like a victory lap, a triumphant declaration that she had beaten the odds. Medical professionals watching that video, however, noted the careful language. She said her chemotherapy had ended, not that she was cancer-free. She spoke of a new phase of recovery, not of being cured. These distinctions matter enormously. The autumn brought what seemed like a gradual return to royal duties. Catherine appeared at Wimbledon in July, a brief but significant public outing. She attended the remembrance service in November, standing with the dignity and grace that has become her hallmark. Each appearance was carefully managed, her schedule meticulously planned to accommodate her energy levels. What the public didn't know was that behind each of these appearances were extensive medical consultations, careful monitoring, and growing concern among her doctors. The scans that should have shown clear progress instead revealed shadows, small areas of concern that required additional imaging, further tests, biopsies that brought back results no one wanted to see. By late November, Catherine's medical team was faced with an agonizing reality. The cancer wasn't gone. It was adapting, evolving, finding ways to persist despite the aggressive treatment she had already endured. New treatment protocols would be necessary, more intensive, more experimental, more uncertain in their outcomes. Throughout all of this, Catherine has maintained a strength that borders on superhum. Those who have spent time with her during this ordeal speak of a woman determined not to be defined by her illness. She continues to be involved in her charitable work, albeit behind the scenes. She reads every letter sent by well-wishers. She participates in decisions about her children's education and activities. She supports William as he navigates his own increased responsibilities while watching his wife battle for her life. But the toll is undeniable. This is a fight that tests not just physical strength, but mental and emotional reserves that no one should have to draw upon. Behind palace walls, the golden facade of royal life has always concealed private struggles, but rarely has the contrast between public image and private reality been so stark. Behind the palace walls, the Wales family has been living through every family's worst nightmare. Amplified by the unique pressures of their position, Prince William, the future king, has found himself playing a role no preparation could have equipped him for. The primary caregiver and emotional anchor for a wife facing a life-threatening illness while trying to shield 3 young children from the full horror of their mother's condition. William's transformation over these past 11 months has been nothing short of remarkable. The prince, who once seemed content to let Catherine handle much of the family's day-to-day organization, has become intimately involved in every aspect of their children's lives: morning routines, school runs, homework help, bedtime stories. He has taken on these responsibilities while simultaneously managing his own expanding royal duties and dealing with the emotional devastation of watching the woman he loves fight for her life. Friends describe him as operating on autopilot, going through the motions of each day while internally terrified of what the future might hold. The children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, have been carefully sheltered from the full extent of their mother's illness, but they're not oblivious. George, at 11 years old, understands more than his parents realize. He's seen his mother's exhaustion, noticed when she's too weak to do activities they used to enjoy together. Charlotte, 9, has become almost protective of Catherine, wanting to help in ways that break her parents' hearts. And Louis, just 6, knows something is wrong, even if he can't fully articulate what that something is. The family has sought guidance from child psychologists about how to navigate these conversations, how to be honest without terrifying them, and how to prepare them for possibilities no child should have to consider. Lamrook School, where all 3 children attend, has been informed of the situation and has provided additional support discreetly. Teachers have been briefed on behavioral changes to watch for signs that the children might be struggling more than they're letting on at home. The school community, known for its discretion and respect for privacy, has rallied around the Wales children without making them feel different or singled out. It's a delicate balance, one that requires constant communication between the school and Kensington Palace. Meanwhile, King Charles finds himself in the uniquely painful position of dealing with his own cancer diagnosis while watching his daughter-in-law, a woman he has come to regard as a true daughter, face an even more serious battle. King's cancer, discovered in February during treatment for an enlarged prostate, has required ongoing treatment, but has been deemed manageable. His doctors have been cautiously optimistic about his prognosis, but learning of Catherine's deteriorating condition has taken a visible toll on the monarch. He has increased his private visits to Adelaide Cottage, spending time with William and the children, offering whatever support and wisdom he can provide. The dynamic between Charles and William during this crisis has revealed the strength of their relationship. Gone are the tensions that sometimes characterized their interactions in years past. Father and son have found common ground and shared adversity. They speak daily, often multiple times, comparing notes on treatments, sharing fears they can't voice to others, supporting each other through the loneliness that comes with carrying the weight of monarchy during personal crisis. Charles has also ensured that William is gradually taking on more responsibilities, preparing him for the possibility that circumstances might accelerate the timeline of succession in ways no one wants to contemplate.